Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, it's a little raw out here. Sky's a little gray, no rain, but chilly. I've already been spoiled by about a week of kind of spring-like weather. I have been working this morning on pleadings that I have to file, but in the background, like on a busman's holiday, I've been listening to the trial, not as closely as I should. But there are a couple of points that really bother me about how the prosecution is conducting the case. Yes, I heard the witnesses, and they were appealing and persuasive, but I just have never seen a prosecutor, I never did it, so freely engage in character assassination of the victim, going into his drug habits and amounts and where he got it and how his lady friend was involved with him. And yes, she was sympathetic, and I could see how she was hurt at his loss. But for the life of me, I would never be propounding that. And I've heard some commentators say, oh, it takes the sting out of negative material. No, it opens the door for a flood of worse stuff. And this is only the third day of the case, and we're assassinating our own witness, our own victim. I just don't get it. And the defense has therefore more easily ridden into that opening and is talking about it. Now, you and I will never be persuaded, probably anything the defense would say or whatever errors the prosecution make, that he's compromising the case. But he is, because at the very worst case, the defense objective is to peel off one or two of these jurors to say he's not guilty and hang the jury. That's the victory that he starts with. And the prosecution has got to get them all. They have to all be for conviction. So I've been distressed about that. There's another aspect of this that I've been thinking about. I've been listening to the sound, and I still find it very moving when we have the descriptions of a man dying before these people. And most of us don't even see a person die under whatever you might consider ideal circumstances, a family around a bed, no pain, and a person's spirit leaving them in the final moment. That's a terribly upsetting but natural passage. But what we have here is we have people in real time, back in May of when this happened last year, we have people watching a man just within feet of him that they could save, that they want to save, that they can't save. Now, this phenomenon is distressing on a level that's been studied. Arthur Schopenhauer, he examined the feeling that we have. We exist inside of this own thinking mass of meat, right, normally, and we're separated from a person who is hurt or hurting. But we feel these twinges of this. But what Schopenhauer noticed was there's something stronger than that. That is, we have this feeling in the Indian notion, thou art that. That is to say, that there are moments when another person, we don't even know them, is in distress, that we will feel so hurt by their pain and their suffering, knowing that we might be able to do something to save them, that we'll reach out. And the metaphysical difference between us, that what separates us, will make us risk our own life to save a person we don't even know. Thou art that. All of a sudden there's no division. And there are stories of people who risk their lives. There was an occasion in a subway in New York in which this happened. There have been stories from time to time about how people will take the greatest risk for a person they don't know, feel they couldn't live after that moment if they didn't engage themselves in this moment of humanity to help someone else. So we see people on the stand reliving in a kind of visual PTSD demonstration how hurt they feel that they were there. They could have done something. They talked about it. They could have helped medically. They could have helped physically. all of it denied. So they suffered it, had that moment in which the division between them and that person disappeared, when they could have helped them, but were denied it by police who refused to let them help, who themselves were the cause of this pain and suffering. That's what this case is really about. This is a much more difficult case than, a one-on-one murder case of some sort. This goes to the soul of the nation because it involves that connection to a person you don't know that you could help, that you were deprived of. A person put in that position by police, so-called lawful authority. And the victim is a person of color in a nation that can never get that right. So that's my analysis. I am concerned about the prosecution, but if you will, the magnificent transcendent of the individual to care for another may make the difference in this case, despite, in my opinion, errors by the prosecution, opening up in a way that they shouldn't be doing, in my opinion. But I may be the odd person out, and I hope my caution and objection is proven absolutely wrong and meaningless at the end. But you can't ignore 3 days into the trial and a 3-week trial, and we're attacking the character of the victim. Bad move. So, have a good day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.